This interview is brought to you by Verizon. When the Navy and the Marine Corps look to securely and effectively modernize their network and voice communications in the continental United States or outside the contiguous United States, Verizon's suite of services, solutions, and contract vehicles are there to help meet mission needs.
Hi, I'm Jordan McDonald, staff writer with GovCIO Media and Research, and I'm here with Josh Reiter, Deputy Principal Cyber Advisor at the Department of the Navy. Hi Josh, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Josh, the Navy's cyber strategy includes 7 lines of effort. Could you sort of walk me through those and help me understand how it contributes to the Navy's technological edge and operational readiness?
In broad brushstrokes, our cyber strategy covers our people, our critical infrastructure and weapon systems, and our data and IT. We need to modernize all parts of that. Our people are our most important asset, and they're the beginning of everything that we do. The hardware doesn't run itself without the humans. And the humans take the longest to train and are the most difficult to maintain. Our critical infrastructure is gaining more visibility than it used to. We've always thought of cybersecurity as more of a traditional IT problem, and now in the cyber strategy we're not refocusing, but we're expanding that view to include operational technology and industrial control systems to a much greater degree. Navy ships are like small cities. They have power, they have water, they have sewer, very much like civilian infrastructure, and all those things have to be maintained the same way. There's also a recognition that our critical infrastructure extends outside the fence line of our shoreside infrastructure. The greatest system in the world isn't going to work without power. Sometimes that power doesn't come from the base, but it comes from a commercial provider off base. And we need to extend our boundary to include that as well.
As you're shifting the Navy's, operations from a compliance mindset into a readiness one, a cyber readiness one, what does that look like?
The compliance mindset basically is you have a checklist of things, and all that documentation for those things have to be constantly maintained, which eventually resulted in an authority to operate. And once you got that authority to operate, you basically had a 3-year window where you had like a license. The same way you would take your car to get inspected, the car would be inspected and it would be good for a couple of years. You would get your ATO, there'd be a lot more paperwork, but it was good for 3 years. Well, the reality is, right after that inspection, things are changing, things are going in and out of compliance. You could be compliant and be very vulnerable and very not ready. So that shift over to the readiness from compliance means a little less emphasis on paperwork, more continuous monitoring, more continuous updating, more actual risk-based analysis on a day-by-day basis, as opposed to a massive paperwork drill, which results in a snapshot that lasts for 3 years.
And so as you're shifting this mindset, what is the Navy doing to upskill and retain and then find new cyber talent?
On the civilian side, we have a new cyber accepted service, which allows for much greater pay and incentive structures. It streamlines the hiring process so that we can identify talent by name as opposed to doing very large competitive actions. Hiring managers who are qualified to know the skill sets they're looking for, when they see the talent, they can hire it. They don't have to go through months and months and sometimes years to bring that talent on board. On the military side, there's similar incentive pays, larger retention bonuses for sailors and Marines with critical skill sets and job codes, and overall a much greater emphasis on training and professional development in every aspect.
And so thinking about the larger structure here of the cyber strategy, how's the Navy working with the private sector and international partners to enhance cyber capabilities as a whole?
Let's start with the private sector partners. Again, part of that compliance shift to readiness is going to have ripple effects through what we require in our contracts. Those things aren't necessarily solidified just yet. Part of the strategy is an acknowledgement that our private sector and our foreign allies become part of our attack surface as we work with them more closely. As we network with our coalition partners, their vulnerabilities become our vulnerabilities, so our cybersecurity needs to extend to them as well. The same thing with our private sector mission partners in the defense industrial base. Their intellectual property is our secrets as well. And we need to protect those secrets from the adversary and extend our boundaries to the best of our ability while maintaining that separation between the government and the private sector. We still need to help the private sector protect their information the same way we protect government information from foreign exploitation.
Well, Josh, thank you so much, and looking to see how the Department of the Navy works to implement the cyber strategy.
Thanks for having me.